Hello, good morning and welcome to Newsline, live from the studios here in Colombo. And joining me this morning, as usual, is Bandula Jayasekara, former diplomat and journalist, very much journalist.
Morning, Faras.
Good morning, how are you?
Where have you been?
I've been missing in action for a bit.
You look like a pop forward. I'm sure you went to see the Rugby World Cup to London. You arrived from London.
I wish. I did go back to Wales though.
Yeah, but what happened? Did you go and see any matches or?
No, I was doing a bit of investigation in London.
Yeah, what's this file? You brought a file from London?
That's the file. That's the file.
I'm sure you're going to tell the viewers about this file.
Not today, perhaps in a few days' time, but this is what I've been working on.
It's a pink file for us.
Not the Pink Panther, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's been going on, Bandula?
Yeah, things have been good. I mean, everything is hunky-dory. People are happy.
Do you think that
lots of investigations are going on, but with no results?
No. But do you think that it's about time Sri Lanka came to terms with the fact that we need to address these issues surrounding our fight against terror?
Yes, we need to and be very open about it.
Indeed, and make an apology where needed.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I have always said in 1994, former President Chandrika Kumaratunga apologized. Okay, that was really for 83 rights, which he did. But we need to open up and heal these wounds.
Indeed. There's nothing wrong and nothing shy there's no point being shy about it, is there?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We might as well say sorry and get on with life.
Yeah, we need to, and of course we need good governance after that. And
but what about this issue about returning the land to these people in the former conflict areas?
Yeah, I think it's, let people live, let them go about their ordinary, day-to-day lives, and that's why there has to be a wider discussion, and people, have to say, apologize, accept, and with open arms. We have suffered long enough for us.
Indeed. And I think one of the key things to remember is that without inclusiveness between all the communities, we won't have economic freedom.
Yeah, that's true, and I'm all for this Sri Lankan identity. We really should go as Sri Lankans. It's time that we, like lots of other countries, we stand up together as Sri Lankans.
There's another point I wanted to make with you, ask you what your thoughts were. Now, I take it that if you are a dual national, you can't become a member of parliament anymore.
Yeah, that's what I said, and you can't hold certain office.
Yes, but then the governor of the central bank is a foreigner.
Yeah.
And I'm told that they are looking for more dual nationals to assist Mr. Wickremesinghe in his thought process.
That's what we should take up with Newsline and Sirasa, because we are the real opposition now, since there's no opposition in the country.
That's true.
We are the real opposition for us.
That's true. We are the people's channel. Shall we introduce our somewhat famous guest?
Yeah, famous.
And so joining us this morning is Dr. Pradeep Karyavasan, the former Chief Medical Officer in the Colombo Municipality. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Morning, Pradeep.
Welcome to our network. Thanks for being here so early. How safe is it, Doctor, for me to dine out in Colombo's restaurants?
I'm not very sure how safe it is now, but during my time, of course, that was before 2014, it was safe.
Really? Why did you leave then? Why have you abandoned us?
I had to retire. I reached the age of 60 and I retired.
But you went into politics, right? You contested and lost very badly, Pradeep.
I don't think I lost very badly, because the people had the choice between Mahinda Rajapaksa and Ranil Wickremesinghe's teams, and they all voted for either of the parties.
But you came as an independent and you got 149 votes, right?
Our group got 149 votes, but it was not bad. There were 36 groups, political groups and parties, and we were 16. So we were not badly off.
My goodness me. So what do you think? What will happen in Colombo? Will His Worship the Mayor be unseated by the beautiful Rosie Senanayake?
Well, what I heard was that there's going to be a third person. So let's wait and see what Mr. Wickremesinghe decides on.
Who is the third person?
Is it going to be you?
It could be me even. If they invite me, I'll definitely contest.
Because they might get the Madam Mulana connection, because his brother-in-law is a former president, so they might bring the Madam Mulana.
I am technically connected to the former president, but it's my daughter who's married into that family.
I see. And what is the former president doing these days?
I'm not aware what he is doing. He says, I just saw in the newspapers that he had done a 5-mile marathon run.
So he must be fit.
He's fit, I think.
The question, though, is whether he is fighting fit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
But as a doctor, you may be able to tell from his demeanor. Is he doing well?
I think he's doing well. People still love him. There's a certain percentage of the population which are still behind him.
But I see he's enjoying retirement now. I saw photographs of him on a jet ski in Patskuda.
Yeah, in your absence, this is what he did, and then I think the Prime Minister also joined him. That's what the report
That's right.
said.
In fact, on that little holiday weekend in Patskuda, the Prime Minister was accompanied by many of his close confidants, including the Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, who continues to hold office in spite of the so-called Treasury bond scandal.
A dual national.
And actually, he's not a dual national.
No, he's a Singaporean.
That's right, he's Singaporean. And the laws of Singapore, fortunately or unfortunately, does not include you to become a citizen of another country.
Yeah, but then he's holding this high office for us.
Yes, and he's signing the legal tender, the notes. And all the time, the losses are mounting. And the Prime Minister has one of his party people on one of our other shows said that we've put our hands up. But as our Mr. Chandana said at the time, putting your hands up is not enough. We need to know what's going to be done about it. What is happening? And there are many issues, isn't there, Chandana?
And they're not standing up. I mean, so this is what there was a change, and we expect a change for the better and good governance. So that's what the masses are expecting.
Doctor, when we travel abroad in the region, for example, let's say in Thailand, and you see lots of, it's a culture, a street food culture almost, and it's always struck me that it's quite clean and, you know, that sort of thing. When the fruit sellers are selling their fruit, they're putting it in little plastic bags, and you've got the little stick, it's cool, they've got ice there and so on. I don't get the same confidence from street food sellers here. Why is that? Do you think the safety issues are not implemented here?
Yeah, that's true for us. What is really happening is we have a Food Act, and then there are regulations, but the implementation is not carried out properly. Because now all the food has to be checked, the workers, hotel workers have to be checked, medically checked, and then water supply and drinks, all these things should be checked in laboratories. And we have under the Food Act gazetted laboratories, MRI and the Colombo Municipal Council's laboratory, and these samples should be brought there and checked. In Thailand, I went for one seminar. They do it so well that they know in which street which germ is moving around.
Oh, right.
It's so good. But unfortunately, Sri Lanka has taken a backward position with regard to that. We think that it's not necessary. And that is why, because during my time, of course, I improved such services, and we actually found even in 5-star hotels some carriers of diseases, and we took measures to treat them properly, and so that they will be free of these germs. But that is not happening now.
Pradeep, are we like, is the CMC forcing us to eat junk?
You have to ask the CMC. I'm no longer
But you are
there.
part of the CMC, but you keep on saying my time, but we don't want to know about my time. We want to know our times, because as you know,
But I'm out
people,
of CMC, so I don't know what's really happening there.
And what about these people in places like Golf Face and so on?
Yeah, I had a program to improve food hygiene standards in Golf Face. We had programs for them, awareness campaigns. We checked them, the workers and also the food stuff. We took a lot of legal actions because they were using like dyes which were really cancerous. And so we implemented a lot of things, but I'm not sure whether it's been continued now.
And who's responsible for this? Is this
It's the municipal council is responsible, because under the Food Act, the municipal council only is the food authority for the area.
And What can a member of the public do if they've been afflicted with some sort of disease or whatever?
Well, they have to complain to the Chief Medical Officer of Health, and maybe also to the Food Authority, who is the Director General of Health in the Ministry of Health, and then they will have to take action on that.
But I don't see any situations where people are taking action, you know, like people here, there's food poisoning, lots of things, but there is no redress for people. They just, it's all forgotten after that. Why is it, Pradeep? You know, like the politicians are getting involved, or there's interference, or why is it?
No, I don't think there's interference. It's really lethargy on the part of the officials who have to implement the rules and regulations.
We should be able to take them to courts.
Indeed.
Like where other countries you can. The laws, you think you should strengthen the laws much more, make it more strict?
I think because unfortunately in this country we can't even impose a spot fine in this country, because this country is supposed to be a democratic country and also a socialist country, so everyone has rights, and really the public only have no rights really.
So you mean you can't implement spot fines and so on?
We can't now, even under the mosquito control diseases, mosquito control regulations, we couldn't implement spot fines.
Why?
Because the legal what you call this, the legal draftsman's department refused to agree to that. Yeah.
So that's why we all have to go to court.
Yeah, so then they have to go to courts, and then by the time the court decides, you know, the mosquitoes are already dead, and that generation is dead, and people have got the disease. So,
well, I had to pay a fine, 10,000 rupees in Mount Lavinia.
Why? What was that?
Because members of the PHI, they came around, and they looked at this little bit of water on the top of the cover of a paint container.
Was it a spot fine, or you?
No, he said sign here, and it was all in Sinhalese, which unfortunately I can't read anymore. So I signed, and I noticed something that said 25,000. So I said, "What's that?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh well, if you don't come to court, that's how much you'll end up paying." So I asked him to leave and close the gate behind him. I then had to go to court, but you see, this is the point. It wasn't only me. I had to take somebody with me, because once I plead guilty, this is
the law. Yeah.
Yes, then I'm not allowed to leave the position. So I then need somebody else to be present to go and pay the fine. So in a way, it's two people's time that has been lost. They need to really look at this system.
Yeah, we should, pressurize for them to bring new laws and regulations and to implement it. That's the main thing. But we are living in muck, and junk in the people in Colombo, even though like people, the voters, but that's really what's happening to us. I mean, we are not sure, what we eat, whether they are clean or, all these, whether be it golfes or 5-star hotels.
That's right.
So the CMC is not doing as much.
And do you all have a sort of a ongoing monitoring process that would go and, say, inspect the kitchen of one of the hotels in Colombo? Not one, maybe all. Do you have
we have a system where the public health inspectors and the area medical officers of health have to go and inspect all these places at least once a month. And then they have to take measures to improve the conditions. But I'm not sure whether it's been done now regularly, but I know that in some areas, especially when there are complaints, these inspectors and medical officers visit the hotels and canteens and other restaurants. But it should be done regularly.
But can't we publish their names for the better, that people know?
Yes, can't we have a name and shame list? Yeah,
there is a grading system, and we can actually publicize the good ones, so that the tourists and the locals will know in which places they could go and wine and dine.
Yesterday I was at a hotel, and I noticed there's a foreigner, a couple, and the chap looked a bit flustered, and so when the waiter came, he said to him, "Now tell me, before I order, are there any restrictions today?" So the waiter was a bit lost, and he said, it's not poya, so you can have what you like. He said, "Oh, well, the supermarket wouldn't sell me meat." This is why I don't know about that. But the point I'm trying to make is that in Sri Lanka, On the one hand, we encourage tourism, and on the other hand, we have this preoccupation with religion. And the foreigners get caught up in the middle of all this.
Yeah, but they spend, thousands of dollars to come here, plan their holidays.
Yes.
This is what happened. They are not happy about it.
And they may have landed on a poor day.
And we are so religious.
Yes.
They're so religious. Everything is fine. Everybody, no crimes. Everything is fine in this country, right?
Indeed, indeed. I see that on another note that the the Financial Crimes Investigation Department, the FCID, that dreaded place, they have gone for some training to London, to the Serious Fraud Office over there.
Did you meet them while we were there in London?
No,
or you had the
we crossed.
World Cup?
We crossed. But that's very interesting, because obviously the FCID are making progress, and they've gone to the Serious Fraud Office to get a bit of help.
But people are wanting results. Nothing is happening. Inquiries. It's become a media spectacle. That's
Indeed.
what
I think, Bandula, with your permission, we may have to start the use of private planes, because the Attorney General, in his considered opinion, has said that, for example, that KP is not a terrorist. And the Attorney General, in his considered opinion, says that there is no case to answer for avant-garde. Well, that's all fine. But as a member of the public, you may be concerned to know that avant-garde have got a license to train anyone in the use of weapons. And this is a private
Is
company.
that all this information in this file, which you are not going to come
No,
up with?
this one is to do with his family.
Yeah. Pradeep's family.
So,
Extended family.
Well, I think on Wednesday or Thursday I shall reveal the contents of this. But yes, so it's very.
But you're talking of the Attorney General, the private sector, like say Pradeep now, the municipal council. What happens is they don't allow the private doctors to go and check this. They, like the municipal wants to handle everything. But do we trust the municipal council? Do we trust? So there is a big issue about it. Private doctors, they cannot check, like the food technologies or whoever. You don't allow them to do that.
No, there are rules and regulations, Bandura. You have to understand that under the Food Act and under the Municipal Council's ordinance, there are certain actions that the Municipal Council has to perform. And that's what we are doing. But any food handler, before joining, could get a certificate from the private medical practitioner and join the services. But after that, it's up to the regulatory authority to check these workers and to check the food and water. Because what we found was that all the reports that the medical officers from the private sector give are, they say there's nothing wrong with anything. So that's why we really started implementing.
But for us, can we believe that? That means, do we trust the municipal council, not the private sector?
I think we all Sri Lankans run a huge risk when we venture out and eat outside.
We are, really, because I know that even in 5-star hotels, last year there had been 3 incidences where food poisoning outbreaks took place. Only one was highlighted. So like that, if that is happening in 5-star hotels, what about the other restaurants?
Can you name those 5-star hotels?
No, I won't name them.
You can't. I see.
But also again, on this, what we need to ask is like coming back, I asked Pradeep during this Sinhala program, where now always the UNP wins in Colombo. In spite of, the former defense secretary, with Mr. Muzamil doing so much for Colombo. Why is that?
Yes, why is that? Why is
because, who Sri Lankans are, they are not grateful. Any officer can do good work, but still, people forget very quickly. Within a week, they'll forget about the good work. They are like that. But in Colombo, what is happening is that a lot of illegal encroachments are being done on government land and municipal lands and so on. And all these encroachments are, politically blessed ones. people who have power only allow such constructions to come out, and they come up during the weekends when officers are not there. So officers also have an excuse somewhat, to say that we didn't know it. By the time they come on Monday, already 2 stories have been, put up.
So can't you make them, force them to bring it down?
They have to, and I think some of the constructions have been demolished, but say if they put up about 10, 1 or 2 only gets demolished, because once politicians get involved in it, they stop all the demolitions.
Right. Talking about implementation, and going back to my bit about avant-garde.
Yeah.
Now, we have a constitution, it's written, constitution of this country, and nobody, if you want to change the constitution, there's a process, you need to go to parliament and so on. Now, in terms of avant-garde, I have seen the contracts, in fact they're in my bag in the car. They were given permission to store weapons and so on. Now, part of the contract is that the applicable laws will apply, and that is the firearms ordinance. Now, if you breach that and store weapons, it means you're storing weapons illegally. Now, that's tantamount to, what, treason, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And one can even topple governments. Do you remember some years ago in Africa, the former British Prime Minister's son, Mark Thatcher, was involved in an attempt to take over a country. And he somehow got away with it. But Simon Mann, the mercenary who got jailed, they were arrested in Zimbabwe and returned to this other neighbouring country, can't remember the name. But Simon Mann has only just been released and arrived back in London just a couple of weeks before I got there. And he was a mercenary, but clearly he had access to weapons and so on. And one of these days we may find, because avant-garde, they've had another company that trains people to become sea marshals. Now that also includes training in the use of weapons. This is a highly dangerous situation.
That's I think AG should get involved and look into it, because this is what's worrying everybody, and this is what happens. This is a wonder of Asia.
I was speaking to a senior lawyer on Friday night, and he said that if the Attorney General doesn't change his mind, that there is a group of people who are considering bringing a private claim against this matter, because they recognize the seriousness of the situation. You can't possibly have people coming here and getting training on weapons and weapons usage in the guise that they want to be sea marshals, because the necessary checks haven't been carried out. And those necessary checks must be carried out by a recognized state.
So, what do you think, Pradeep? You are part of the government. What do you think on this avant-garde? As we are not saying talk about the extended family, but we are asking your views. What do you think on this avant-garde issue? I'm sure you had time to study it. You contested elections.
I had no idea, Bandhu.
Well,
as an ordinary person, like he said, it's treason.
I mean, what do you say? Just, you don't need to know anything about it. But if I was to say to you that a foreigner can arrive in this country, pay a fee to this company, it's avant-garde or one of their associate companies, and pay them to have training to become a sea marshal. A sea marshal is somebody who gets on a ship and provides security, but using weapons as well, real live weapons with live ammunition and so on. But they get trained in Sri Lanka, so it could be a terrorist. And they're being trained here in Sri Lanka to go out on a ship, to guard a ship, but they may end up on the battlefields of ISIS. And then look at the problems our country will face.
Yeah, I think first thing is that the government should first approve that, whatever the training that we give to foreigners, because even in the simplest case, you find that students from other countries come to Sri Lanka to study medicine, something like that. So, secondly, I think we must have background checks, proper background checks, otherwise we should not train them.
It's very worrying, Bandula, because I mean, even in Britain, they don't have a system to license the use of weapons by the sea marshals. So they have encouraged them to set up offshore companies. So they're outside. A very worrying situation, and I hope that whoever this group are who's considering a private plaint in this matter, I wish them well, and I think they'd be doing an essential duty. So now, have you got another question for Doctor?
No, I'm sure. No, we have plenty of questions. I mean, I don't know whether we have enough time about the squatters, you know, and all that. But there are, like, I think, we have more questions. I think about this issue of avant-garde and all these issues of with the AG.
That's right, and then you know it's very worrying because you have all these allegations, and the AG has clearly explained himself. We may not agree with that, but anyway, he's explained himself. But, you know, he's just one man, and he's put this matter, he hasn't put the matter on hold. Instead, he's even released the chairman of that company's passport for international travel.
Yeah, now you talk of public officials, you know, Pradeep, you have served for 26 years, but how do you see it now? AG is also a public official. You represent the you know, public. How do you see it? Is it acceptable or not?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know.
No, but this is
maybe AG's decision is the public may not be agreeable to the AG's decision because the public don't know the law as per se. Because in law, you know, everything has to be black and white.
But the lawyers are saying, lots of senior lawyers are saying.
But Bandula, one judge could give a judgment against accused, another one would free him, you know, on simple.
But we are talking of, you know, like there is the majority are asking this, you know, with the government MPs, the opposition MPs, everybody is asking. So that's something like the same with KP.
Perhaps the conscience of these public interest litigators who have raised their head in the past will now raise their head and band together and forget their fees and so on.
Yeah, no, like what I asked you, Pradeep, now you contested, you know, want to have clean politics, like we campaign for clean politics. That's what I'm asking is, you wanted good governance, even though your group lost, right? But your team was good governance. That is what you even join hands with the former CJ's son who contested with the group, but that's why we're asking this.
But do you think the public really want good governance? The public wants someone to help them, right? They appoint people that represent them. If all the people in the country go in front of a mirror, they see people who represent them on the other side of the mirror. You know, so that's
but the public do want people to help them, and they have voted rather wisely. I know his member of the family, but still, they voted Mahinda Rajapaksa out of office because they felt that there was a need for change, and so change is now happening. But sometimes some of this change that is happening is abysmal by any standards, and all we have to do is talk about the infamous Treasury bond scandal, the matters connected with the Attorney General, which is avant-garde, is one. There are other issues as well. But this is your channel, the People's Channel, and you can hear it from us here at Newsline that we will be maintaining a watchdog position on these matters and keeping you abreast of all those events. Won't we, Bandula?
Definitely for us, since you're back now.
And you must look out for this file because this file is very serious, has caused a very serious loss of revenue, money, to the people of this country, which is against Article 28D of the Constitution of this country. Shall we thank Dr. Pradeep Karivasan, the former Chief Medical Officer.
Thank you very much.
And I hope you make a contribution to...
I will, definitely.
to the municipality?
Not to the municipality, really, to the people.
Well, thank you very much for being on our network. It's been a great pleasure. And Banu, thank you very much. And I hope to see you tomorrow, hopefully. We'll be live tomorrow from Independence Square, apparently. And we shall leave you with this little thought for the day. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic, nor popular, but he must take it because his conscience tells him that it is right. And that's what we're talking about, conscience. We hope the conscience of these public interest litigators have been aroused. On that note, I'll say a very good morning to you, and see you again tomorrow from Independence Square. Thank you.